Oh, good.
We're going chasing.
Hello, dear, and welcome to.
We're going chasing.
Hello, now, and welcome to.
We're going chasing.
Now, we have a lot on the agenda, lads, so we'll cut the chase and get straight down to the business.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of We're Going Chasing, Dublin Racing Festival Week, Killian. What a weekend's racing coming up. I know we've a lot of racing from the previous weekend to talk about, and the Monday Club is a small bit later this week. It's going to be coming out on a Tuesday. But first of all, let's talk about the upcoming weekend. Are you going both days?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm like
Good
a
man.
Cheshire cat, grinning from ear to ear, waiting for it now. It's in isolation. It's the best 2 days of racing all year, really. Like, there isn't one bad race. It's all good horses, and it's savage. Yeah, and it's some piss up as well in Dublin the 2 nights, especially with the bank holiday Monday. So
Yeah.
that's a huge boost. I'd say they were delighted to get it.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
probably putting money in the government's pockets nearly to
Yeah.
get the day. But yeah, savage, and can't wait for some unreal flashes coming up as well. And I know we did the anti-post video last week, and that's all still relevant. If you want to go back and watch that, but there'll be a preview on Thursday night and on Friday night. Thursday night for Saturday and Friday night for Sunday. So stay tuned for that. We might have a few guests in as well for those.
Yeah, and keep an eye out for Killian at the races as well. If you see Killian, go over and say hello to him and give him a dunt.
You're going racing as well. Lads can hit you with dunt as well.
I'm going racing on Saturday. I won't be racing Sunday, but I might do a John Terry on it on Sunday evening and throw on the brown shoes and the chinos and that and head out to Dublin afterwards.
That's also known as a Brian McKenna, a friend of ours, has often been known to do that. He'd have the full race and the racing attire on, and he wouldn't have gone racing at all. He'd too mean.
He'd be hanging around outside nightclubs then and whatnot.
Awesome. Be good.
Yeah. So look, a great weekend to look forward to. And I'd love to be there this Sunday now too. But look, Saturday will do me, and I'll probably meet you out on Sunday night wherever you decide to go.
And if you see James, you can hit him a slap and knock the glasses off his head.
And break Killian's teeth. Right, this is pure bullshit now.
All right, go on.
In the green from last week, first of all, looking at Gowran Park, we had Monkfish back from another long layoff, 273 days off the track. And then he went and he won the Presenting Percy Grade 2 Galmai Hurdle.
Yeah,
you like the Presenting Percy line on it?
I do, yeah. If it's a pity Galmai was already a horse, and they could actually call it the Presenting Percy Hurdle or something. Yeah, Monkfish was savage. I don't know why I thought he ran already this season. It's because he was injured so much, I think. And was he declared on he was declared in Tramore on New Year's Day as well, but he had plenty of injuries. For some reason I thought he'd ran, but he hadn't, and he was very impressive, and he just like picked it up and stayed on very strongly. Like, I wouldn't say the two horses he beat, Somerville Boy and Ashdale Bob, wouldn't be great form there, considering the Devil's Coachman blew up, but especially Ashdale Bob on that ground. But like, beating a 12-year-old Somerville Boy isn't hectic. Like,
No.
Tilpo beat him by about 25 lengths last year. So you'd assume Monkfish will come on for the run. But you'd find it hard to back him in the Stayers hurdle still all the same, and you definitely wouldn't back him in the Gold Cup. I don't think horses that have only had one run in the Galmai hurdle before the Gold Cup tend to go well. Thinking back to Presenting Percy himself. So I'd say he'll run the Stayers, and sure, if he does come on for the run, he might bother the places maybe at a push, but you couldn't see him win it no matter how good he was one time.
No, you probably couldn't, but a very classy animal too, to be missing so long, like 713 days off the track, came back last year, another 273 days, still retains a fair level of ability, and it would just make you think, if he didn't have those injuries interrupting his career, what heights he may have reached. One horse that has reached, we'll say, the pinnacle of his career so far is Ain't That a Shame. He went and he won the Thyestes chase in Gowran on the same day. Beck Glenn Gooley, who was a real eye catcher, I thought. The way that he fought back in second was very impressive. But Ain't That a Shame, who sort of looked like he was a bit of a weak finisher, Didn't really have the fight for a battle before, but he certainly showed he had the fight for the battle last week in Gowran, Killian.
Yeah, it's the first time the horse has ever actually put his head down, which is very surprising. Like if you look at him, his career in big handicaps. So he went off 6-1 for a Kim Muir, finished well beaten. Second beaten ahead in a Munster National, 5-1 favourite. 9-2 favourite in the Paddy Power was fourth. Didn't probably stay in the National last year. Got well beaten for finish. He was 10-1 that day. 8-1 in the Kerry National, well beaten, pulled up in the Tri-Town at 8-1 as well. And then the one day he goes off a biggish price, he ends up winning. Yeah, I was surprised. Like when they jumped the last, I said Glengooly is going to pull away here. But in fairness, ain't that a shame? He dug in and he showed a bit of resolve. Resolve I didn't think he had, but yeah, there's a few in it there like Angel's Dawn. She ran with a lot of credit, despite she probably didn't jump as well as she can. Hopefully that gets her back to the Kim Muir. She's off 138 in Ireland. They'll do well to give her 7. So she should get into the Kim Muir and be able to defend her crown there. She's obviously not as well handicapped as last year, but I'd imagine she'd give it a good swing again.
Yeah, and then we had Sir Gino at Cheltenham. A great performance, beating Border Road by 10 lengths, and just visually the way that he pulled away after the last was very striking. Obviously, he's really shortened into what was a quite open Triumph Hurdle market before this, but now we certainly have our solid favourite, as short as even money there, with the likes of William Hill and Sky Bet. Best price 6-4, bet 365. It's a small bit of a kick in the teeth for me after putting up Cargeese last week at 14-1. But to be honest, let's see what Dublin Racing Festival brings, because I'd fully expect Cargeese to be bang there next weekend. And if she does go and win, well, then she's your second favourite. But Sargino is the right favourite at the moment, anyway, Killian.
Yeah, he definitely is. He was savage the last day. And like I don't know, I'm trying to think of like a juvenile performance like that I haven't seen in a long time. And like Burnett Road was a good winner in Cheltenham. Now the race potentially did fall apart that day in November, but he still absolutely hosed up and he hit the line very hard. I think maybe the fact that it was on the new course the last day, as opposed to, I think he won on the old course in November. So I did. I don't think maybe that sort of stiffer test of stamina probably suited him. Like he'd won in Royal Ascot over a mile and a quarter, and he was probably like a mile horse nearly before that, before he stepped up. And maybe he's just not as strong a finisher over a stiff 2 miles than a sharper one that he would have got on the old course in November. But like he's been well beaten. Like Milantino, I thought he got a weird enough ride, to be honest. Like he kicked well clear, and then he sort of just let them come back into his lap again. And like I would have thought, when you actually go that far clear, you try and keep up the tempo. Maybe he wasn't able to, but he actually only finished a length behind Burnett Road, which was like you would have said Burnett Road would have been well clear of third and fourth when he jumped the last. But he did sort of wilt a small bit. But the winner is Savage, and I wouldn't like to take him on.
No. I'd be in full agreement there. You certainly wouldn't like to be taking him on. And to be fair, Nicky was very bullish beforehand. He said that class wise he was as good nearly as any Triumph Hurdle horse that he had trained. So with that confidence behind him, it was nearly surprising that he didn't go off odds on. I know what Burnett Road had achieved up until that point was good, but he's been on the track now really for a long time, that horse, without a nice break. And usually we see these better 4-year-olds coming out in the second half of the season. So indeed, he was fitting that trend, we'll say. Ginny's Destiny. Paul Nichols says that this fella is as good as stage star. Do you believe him, Killian?
Well, he won off 147. It was Stage Star won the race last year off 142. I'd say maybe Stage Stars race was a small bit better due That's All Right Gino in second that day as opposed to Theatre Man for Ginny's Destiny. But he was very impressive. He's like Stage Star. If he can get to the turners and he's let dominate, he might be hard to beat. And like Gaelic Warrior has he's probably not as good going that way. It'll suit him more on the new course than the old course would have the 2 times he was beaten in the Boodles and in the Ballymore. But yeah, I'd find it hard. I think Gaelic Warrior just has more class than Ginny's Destiny. But like if he is let dominate, he might be hard to pull back. Because I'd say he'd have no problem going up in trip as well. Like he seems more of a stayer than Stage Star was. But yeah, he was very impressive, and that's a horse that came into Paul Nichols's from Tom Lacey. He had him last year, like so. He's proved a nice touch now for going to Nichols's. So you'd be a bit sickened for Tom Lacey, that he lost
Yeah.
him. But yeah, he's going very well. He's won his last 3, and he's improving every start. So like it's hard to see what where his ceiling is. And
Mm.
I'd imagine like if Gaelic Warrior wasn't there, he'd be one I'd be picking in the turners anyway.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. By all accounts, it seems like Gaelic Warrior is going to run over 2 miles at the Dublin Racing Festival. Now I'd fancy Marine National in that race, but do you think is there a possibility, any chance at all, of him running in
He
the
might
Arkle?
he might beat him in Leopardstown, but like Gaelic Warrior's been to the old course twice and failed. I don't think his jumping was that bad in the Ballymore last year, but it's just that tighter track. I don't know, is it going to suit him? Like an Irish Arkle in Leopardstown over 2 miles in a furlong is a way stiffer test really than Cheltenham is.
Mm.
Cheltenham much sharper. So like he'd want to be beating Marine National handy enough to go to the Arkle. Like I'd say Willie probably wants something in the Arkle. Facile Vega's not the answer. So Blood Destiny has been beaten. So maybe he does think Gaelic Warrior will be the one, but I think he's trying to put a square peg in a round hole there. He should just
Yeah.
run it. I think the Turners is the right race for him from what
Yeah.
he's shown so far.
Well, certainly he's got so many horses to run at Dublin Racing Festival. It makes
Yeah,
sense for him to split them up a
he
small bit
does. Yeah, yeah,
and have something genuine there to take Marine National on with.
yeah.
A horse who loves Cheltenham is Gal O'Killian. He's 2 from 3 now. He won the Paddy Power Chase there in November 2022, and now he's gone and won. Again, another Premier Handicap there last weekend, beating Lounge Lizard by about 2 lengths. Again, a bit of a hat tip to him, I suppose. The one race he didn't win at Cheltenham was the Ryanair Chase last year. He was only bet 10 lengths by Envo Allen, which was a career best at the time. And he'll probably go back there again, and he deserves to go back there.
He does, yeah. Definitely deserves to go back there now. Um, I think he was very impressive the last day, really. Gavin Sheehan and Jamie Snowden are having a very good season. It's a pity about That's All Right, they lost him in the race beforehand, so that's a huge blow to the yard, or the race after it, not the race before. But that's a huge blow to the yard. But they do have a very good horse and a genuine, well, maybe not a genuine Grade 1 horse, but he's pretty close to it now. He's entitled to run in the Ryanair a lot more this year than he was last year.
Yeah, yeah. He definitely is after winning that off
Yeah,
America
and they
150.
tried him over 3 miles as well, and he just doesn't stay at 3 miles. So,
Mm,
um, I think 2.5 miles around Cheltenham, that's his game, and he's he's well entitled to go
yeah,
back there.
fully entitled to go back there. Capodanno then was a very good winner, beating the real whacker.
What you call him?
I almost said the wheel.
The real
The
whacker.
the real whacker. Um, by 2 lengths. Stay Away Faye was back in third, a Ahoy Sonor in fourth. But people were, we'll say, hitting Jerry Colombe with a bit of a stick the last day when he was bet by Gallop and Deschamps, saying that he only bet Capodanno by a head. And now, while you do accept that to an extent, it doesn't look as bad after the weekend than what it did look previously, it's fair to say, Killian.
Yeah. Well, like he beat Capodanno by a head, but like Capodanno was never ridden to try and win the race. Like Capodanno was ridden to come home. Jerry Colombe tried, so like
Yeah.
you mark up Jerry Colombe there for like not being beaten by Capodanno, who was ridden to come home strong. Um, I think it was a fair performance now, and like I saw it when it was priced up, and he was like 10-1. I said, Jesus, oh yes, fuck it. He's just probably had an easier race than most in the Savills. He just passed beaten horses, and
Mm.
like I thought I saw him priced up, and he was the bottom weight. I said, Jesus, maybe he just has no chance. But the money came Saturday morning. When the money is down, they rarely leave it behind them. So
No.
yeah, he was very good. I think Stay Away Faye ran with a lot of credit as well. Like
Yeah.
only having his third start over fences.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Third start.
and to go into open company against a horse like the Real Whacker, that'd make it that usually didn't jump well the last day really, but usually jumps really well, and a Hoist Senior who'll make it a good test. Seasoned horses really, and he ran with a lot of credit. Now I was a bit surprised that the Real Whacker stayed on past Stay Away Faye. That'd be the only thing, but it was only his third run over fences. But like he'd be my idea of the RSA. This piece of form, going back to Presenting Percy, ran in the Red Mills Chase behind our Duke. He ran an open company before he went to the RSA, and like that left him that bit of an extra tough test left him spot on for, I'd say, Stay Away Faye. Like he's a similar horse. He's a very strong stayer, and I think that this will leave him right for the RSA now. So he'd be hard to beat there. But Capodanno, I don't know, like he's not. I don't know, is he entered in the Gold Cup? He's not. He's in the Ryanair, but like would 2.5 miles suit him? I don't know. Maybe like he was pulled up in the national last year. I know he did a bad enough prep for it. He only had one run, and it was in the Red Mills, but I don't know what the plan is there again. Maybe the Ryanair, 2.5 miles. If he was
Yeah.
handy, he might be like he was only beaten 4 lengths by Bob Ollinger in the grade 3 over 2.5 miles when Bob Ollinger was a racehorse, like before he
Yeah.
had his issues. So that was a fair piece of form from Capodanno there. So um I
That
wonder,
was.
yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they do. I presume he will run the Ryanair now.
I'm
Like
sure
it's
they
wide
probably
open.
will run him there. Exactly. It's wide
Yeah,
open. He
yeah,
deserves to. He's got a bit of course for him there now too.
yeah.
One horse that really surprised me, to be honest, was Lossiemouth. Um, like I didn't think that she'd have that level of form in her this year. Usually those 4-year-olds, they're better sort of up and trip in time. And I'd always been inclined to take him on over 2 miles, but and I did with Love and Vop, but she was superb. Just people talking about the champion hurdle now. Very hard to see her going there. You'd love to see her go there, but very hard to see it. And you'd imagine up in trip even like that was over 2 miles, 1 furlong in the Mare's hurdle. She's totally bomb proof. I don't know what price she is there, but she's probably the biggest certainty of the week there at the moment, I'd say.
Yeah, I just one thing about it, I know she will stay 2.5 miles, but she's just all speed though. Like I know it'll be a very hard race for her, but I'd nearly chance it. I'd roll the dice. Like if you go through that race the last day, so she's got £8 from First Street and £10 from the Nichols horse, Robot, and First Street and Robot ran behind Constitution Hill the last day. So she was only £1 wrong with First Street um there the last day than what she would be if she ran in the Christmas hurdle. Um and he was beaten 10 lengths by Constitution Hill. The other lad was beaten 9 lengths. She was £3 wrong. So like that had put her a clear second, like
Yeah.
in that.
I
So
wonder I
like
wonder
I
what Willie
think
thinks himself in
I
terms of
I
like
love to know
state
what he
man
thinks.
there. You know,
Well, I
like
think she definitely beat him Pass, getting
yeah,
seven.
yeah,
Just because she's so fast. But
yeah,
would she beat Stateman? I don't know. I just think, is Stateman just doing enough some days in Ireland? Like, does he have more up his sleeve? I think he does.
yeah, I'd say he does.
Um, I
Yeah,
th
I'd
I
say he
think he
does.
does. Whereas I don't think Imperi Pass does. State Man is like we talked about him. You love him because he's not flashy. Like I
Yeah.
think he's them type of horses are always holding something on that like they have something left, and I'd say he's one of them. But I'd say she'd beat Imperi Pass over 2 miles, getting £7. Like I see there, they want to run her in the French champion hurdle. That's over 3 miles. It's like 3 miles in a furlong. That'd be madness in my eyes. Would she like she's because she's so fast. I don't know. She probably would stay it like, but geez, I don't know. I wouldn't like to be backing her, especially against if Tell Me was there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
True.
she was savage last time. Like I
That's a
do
long
think
way down the road,
I
anyway.
do
Really,
think
when
Love
you're on the.
Envoy will be closer to her in the mare's hurdle. She's not going to beat Love Envoy 10 lengths in the mare's hurdle. Not a chance. But um,
You
up
reckon?
up
Yeah.
and trip. But it's hard to see Love Envoy reverse there. Like I'd say maybe half the distance. But Love Envoy is a very good horse. But this
She is.
this
Yeah.
one is
I think she.
obviously it's been very clever by Willie. Like he's minded her. He's minded Gala Marceau. He ran the two of them the one day. And I know Gala Marceau is beat, but she'll come on loads. I'd say she'll reverse with Ashrow Diamond. I think Gala Marceau is a cracker.
Yeah. 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 Gala Marceau. Yes, certainly highly rated. Another horse that's highly rated, Noble Yates. Back over hurdles, 2 runs this year, both over hurdles. And beat Paisley Park, a proper old warrior, by a head. Never really looked in danger. Paisley Park never really looked in danger. I don't think of winning the race, to be honest. Watching it back there, he was sort of getting there up the home straight, but don't think he was ever going to actually get there. But yeah, went off a nice price too, 3-1. They're going to go to the stairs hurdle now before going back to the national, I believe, Killian.
Yeah, that's it. And she's like, I think he's a great chance in the stairs hurdle. Um, like outside the two Rob Core horses, I wouldn't fancy Crambo that much, to be honest.
No.
I think Noble Yates is another one of them that just does enough. Um, I'd say he's holding some up his sleeve, and like he's going to the improvement he could find between now and the stairs hurdle, and given who trains him, is it could be any amount. Like you're looking at the betting there, you have Tupu and Irish Point sort of 11-4, 3-1. You have Crambo at 13-2. Imperia Pass is best price 8. He's not going to run there. Sir Gerard, I wouldn't fancy him at all. And Noble Yates then is next with Monkfish. Like, if you ask me, you can back Noble Yates at 12s or Monkfish at 12s, or Sir Gerard. I know which one I'd be doing anyway. Like, he's going to be very close, I'd say.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
he's a serious danger to the other two at the top.
Okay. Interesting. I wouldn't necessarily disagree with you. To be honest, I do think the form of that race at the weekend, like he would want to be holding a nice bit up his sleeve because he could throw a blanket over the whole lot of them there. They finished so close together. Um, and like Paisley Park, really, if you're only beating him by half a length or by a neck even, you'd want to have a lot more up your
Oh, he
sleeve.
got £6 off Paisley Park as well. Like,
Yeah,
he will improve. Like, there's no question of it.
yeah.
Um,
Like,
but
yeah, I wouldn't be
But like
done on him.
Paisley Park, like the stairs division is gas enough. Like Paisley Park could easily come fourth or fifth on the stairs and only be beaten 3 or 4 lengths. Like he was beaten 12 lengths last year, but I wouldn't mind that. Like he could easily like Home by the Lee was fifth last year. Florin Porter was fourth, only bet 3.5 lengths. Like they could easily Paisley Park could easily hit the frame. Like, there's no standout horse, and like you'd be looking at maybe Tupu's level of form, not having ran in Gowran this year, having beaten in Perry Pass. Maybe he's going to take a step forward. Irish Point, who looks very progressive. Crambo does as well, but I wouldn't be too gone on Crambo, to be honest. I just think your man is going to have Noble Yates at least half a stone better the next day.
Yeah, two mares that we saw then, Killian, Jade de Grugy and Dice Ardinos. They're both gone into now about 3-1, 7-2 for the mares novice hurdle. You obviously have brighter days ahead up as an anti-post selection. You've got to be a small bit worried.
Yeah, I'm worried about one and not the other. I do
Jade?
think I just think that Dice she's a very nice horse. But I have this feeling about Jade de Grugy. She's an absolute rocket. Um, like brighter days ahead, don't get me wrong. I think she could win grade ones against Geldons. But I'd say this one could as well.
Yeah,
Which is like she gave a fair performance the last day now. In Fairyhouse in the Solerina, she'll have the £5 penalty now as well. But like she could have won by double that if she wanted.
yeah,
Like, I wouldn't say penny 100 is anything hectic. Look to the west is probably a 3 miler.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I'm worried about Jade DeGrugy now. All right, not so much about Thyestes, even though she'll be getting 5. I just think the other two Thyestes might be faster than them, but I just think the other two are stronger stairs, and that'll work on the new course in Cheltenham. It will be like usually something goes stupid off the front.
that's the race is
Yeah.
always like that. Yeah,
So it will be a very strong stamina test, and I think that'll suit Jade DeGrugy and Brighter Days Ahead. And yeah, I'd be worried now. So I'm on Brighter
yeah,
Days Ahead at big prices as well, and um, I don't know. If you nearly offered me out now and swap it to Jade DeGrugy, I nearly would.
yeah, yeah. I'd say you'd be right too. That's certainly the way I'd be looking. I would have reservations about that Chickenstown horse. But Embassy Gardens then bet Sander Clegane by 10 lengths. Sander Clegane has had enough chances now really over fences. I think he'd probably go to an Irish national or that. You'd imagine, but 3 chase starts. And he's I don't know. I wouldn't be too taken by him.
Well, I'd say like he was ran the other day with a mark in mind. I'd say. Um, I don't know. Was he trying too hard to be honest?
Okay.
It's because he's probably not a grade one horse. They probably spotted that fairly early. When he got beaten, I know it was over 2 miles, but when he got beaten the Florida Pearl, I'd say they said maybe he's not a grade one horse, and said we'll take our time now. We'll give him a bit of a break and come to try and just get a mark now. Hard to know what they'll give him. Like can you give him a mark less than his hurdles mark? He probably hasn't ran to 141 over fences.
No.
But could you give him a mark of 137 or 8? And like he could shit up then in
Yeah.
an Irish national.
He'd
And
be very dangerous, like, wouldn't he?
yeah,
Like,
your man's there with his egg on his face then.
yeah,
That'd be the worry if you were the handicapper. Like, do you do you just leave him on his hurdles mark, even though he probably hasn't ran to it in any start? I don't know. That's the worry. But like if he was off something less than 141, you'd imagine that he'd go very close, um, close to winning something. Like your man, the other horse latest exhibition, he was running above or close to being above his hurdles mark, and he was 153 in a national. He was only a few pounds above. He was probably 3 pounds above his hurdles mark. So maybe
yeah,
this lad I think he's ran a good bit below it. So be interesting to see what he gets.
yeah. Marie's Rock, won again over 3 miles. Ranked the farm, Bob Ollinger farm. Certainly best 7 lengths by Bob Ollinger. Probably is a better horse.
Rock solid farm.
Yeah, probably is a better horse. Over 2.5 miles. Where do you see her lining up in Cheltenham? Will she go to the Mare's Hurdle? Will she go to the stairs? Or where does she go? She obviously went to the Mare's Hurdle last year and came nowhere really. She's probably just a bit below that level.
Yeah, she was hammered in the mare's hurdle. She ran well in the entry though. I think if she got like I think she only gets 3 miles on good ground. So if the stairs is good ground, you'd run her in the stairs, probably, as opposed to the mare's hurdle. I just don't think she'd have the boot to live with like Mouth and Gallimar. So
Yeah.
um even Love Envoy is faster than her. So you're looking then at probably the stairs, but you'd have to get good ground. If you don't get good ground, you probably wait for entry and try and catch tired horses in entry. Um,
Mm.
that'd be a good chance there, I'd imagine. But yeah, she was gritty now enough, and she's another one now that tend to lie down and roll over, looking to get her belly tickled. So she did dig in there in fairness against a good mare and you wear it well as well. So that was nice to see from her. The Bob Ollinger form is going well. Strong Leader was very close in the Cleve hurdle as well. Like he was
Yeah,
only beaten a couple of lengths, or like a length and a half by
yeah.
Noble Gates. So like I know it's gone up in trip, and we might see Bob Ollinger down in trip according to the trainer anyway. But it is a help to see horses winning anyway out of it.
That is
That
definitely.
it wasn't complete pigs that he beat.
Yeah. No, no, certainly. It's nice to see that form franked. And you'd love to see him down to 2 miles over the next weekend, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Down at
you would.
Leicester.
Yeah,
So it'd be
yeah.
unreal to
Hopefully he
see him
runs. Yeah.
take on State Man there. So we'll cross our fingers for that. We have a pair of JP horses at the top of our amber list, Killian. First of all, John Bon. Obviously bet there and was, made a bad error, but bet by Elixir Do Nuts, which is quite disappointing. A clear career best by Elixir Do Nuts, horse that seems to be improving all year, really, to be fair to him. And secondly, we have Jericho de Repenay at Doncaster, won by a length and a quarter, that but was fairly workmanlike.
Yeah, we'll start on John Bond. So I suppose, yeah, he'd concern me a lot now. He's in the amber because like he did go close to win the race, and it was like from the back of the third last where he made the mistake. He did just sort of grit his teeth, or the fourth last, sorry, he did grit his teeth and get back into it, but like he jumped like a wardrobe really throughout. I think was it Anne Duff from the Irish Field had a tweet up, said it was like reminiscent of Duvan when he ran the champion chases. Like it was a disaster really from start to finish. And John Bond's usually a brilliant jumper, really slick, and he
Yeah,
just he just wasn't at all. Like, and I don't know, like the jockey was riding him for the first time. Is that an excuse? I don't know. I'd like to see Aidan Coleman back on him now. Hopefully Aidan is back for March. Um, but you just worried when he made the mistake, what kind of energy and how much did he exert to get himself back into the race? And geez, the jump at the last, Jesus Christ. That was, I don't know, like he was just miles in the air, like, and just
yeah,
landed flat, like, just
yeah.
so unjumbled, like, and he's had a really
Battled
hard
on well
race.
though, didn't he?
He did, well, he did until the last. He sort of just kept going, but I just think Elixir the Nuts couldn't keep it up, like,
Okay, yeah,
I don't know. I'd worry what that's going to where that's going to leave him for the for March. And like it was promising to be a really good race between the two of them. I thought John Bon had improved. I still think like barring that mistake, he was going to hose up. John Bon has improved this year. That's fact. I think. Um, like the performances against Edward Stone, the first day against in the Schlure was unreal, and the last day on ground that wouldn't have suited in the Tingle Creek was a fair performance. So he's definitely improved, and I just worry that that might leave a bit of a mark on him. But hopefully it doesn't, because like if he jumps the first skew ways in the champion chase, he can kiss it goodbye, because his whole thing about beating El Fabiolo was the fact that he's such a good jumper. And he might make El Fabiolo make a mistake. That would have been the angle if you were a John Bond man, I'd say. So
yeah.
you'd worry a lot about him. And then the other fella, Jericho de Rapine. I don't know if anyone saw the video on Twitter of Nicky Henderson. Your Taylor recorded it. It was actually very good. But
Oh yeah,
he didn't really give much away as he was watching the race. Like he looked beat. Like I thought the Ben Pauling horse was going to beat him. But he did stay on well. Like his only entry is in the Supreme. He's definitely running it. I wouldn't write him off at all. I'm sure he'll come on nicely for that too. And the bit of a
yeah,
back might do him no harm. But I think in terms of the real like superstar quality, I don't know, is it there with him? I
yeah,
would like to see him just a bit better than that. I know it's stepping into grade two for the first time, but I don't know, the two horses he's beaten by 2 lengths, like the lump sum grand, like I don't know, like if you just stack it with Ireland and look at what our novices can do. Like I think a lot of people have Farron Glory down the list, and I don't know, maybe he is down the list, but like he was shitting up an entry in a grade
yeah,
one. Like
Backing
I'd
up.
say
Yeah.
whatever he did in the Royal Bond would easily have won that.
Yeah.
Which is be the concern if you were a Jericho drafting him in, but he will come on for it, I'm sure. And there probably is more left. He's only a 5-year-old as well. He's a very young horse, but
Mm.
yeah, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be quick to back him.
Finally, our last horse in the Amber there, Killian, is Tell Me Something Girl. Ran at Naas, second run back over hurdles, and gives the Brave a small bit of a fright. I was quite impressed with her, to be honest. It's a clear step back in the right direction. After her return to hurdles, at Leopardstown over Christmas, fences didn't work out at all last year. She just couldn't jump fence. It was a disaster of a year, really. But like, Tell Me Something Girl looked as if she was going to win the Mayor's Hurdle in 2022, when Marie's Rock actually won it, beating Queen's Brook into second. So not a great renewal of the race, but she looks as if she's going to be peaking at the right time.
Yeah, she is. I agree with you about it. She was definitely going to win, but like I think Captain Guinness is going to win the Supreme. These horses falling like that fucking 2 out on the old course. It sickens me. Um, yeah, she was definitely going to win that too. I'd say she'd have won in Punchestown as well when she fell. But yeah, Finsters were a disaster really. She couldn't jump at all. But back over hurdles, she ran an all right race. She probably got a small bit tired against Chitara at Christmas, and then she's put up a serious performance really against a very good progressive horse, Sarek the Brave, who had a bit to prove himself as well. But yeah, I thought there was a good performance and a good step back in the right direction. She's not a 2 miler like so, and coming back up in trip will help her.
Mm.
Um, so like you wouldn't, I don't know what price she is for the Mayor's Hurdle. Sure she must be 25s anyway.
She must
But
be anyway.
like
I'll check it here very quickly.
I click on the racing post, it says best price 28s. That could be completely wrong now.
Yeah, you couldn't trust that for
You
really.
you couldn't really trust it, but like yeah,
Could
28s
be like
with
with
bet
McTominay bet
365.
or something.
Bet365, 28s, Ladbrokes, and William Hill, or Ladbrokes and William Hill, yeah, 25s, 16s with Paddy Powers, and 20s with Betfair and Sky Bet.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure, she'd be
25 to 1 readily available.
like
Yeah.
would she beat any of Lossiemouth, Astro Diamond, or Gallimar? So I don't know. I wouldn't be too convinced. She
Yeah,
would.
even Jatara.
Would she be a lot closer to Jara than she was at Christmas?
She would absolutely, yeah.
Jatara can go to the Mayor's Novice as well. So
Oh yes, yes.
Jatara could be there. Love Envoy is 18 to 1 with Bet365. That's a good price.
14 to 1 now according to Odds Checker, which is
All
more
right.
reliable.
Yeah, that's definitely more reliable. Yeah, Love Envoy is a big price though.
Yeah, at 14 to 1, she is indeed. Like, she was a good winner of it last year.
Yeah.
Only for Honeysuckle. Um, so she definitely is a fair price at 14 to 1, and she'll come in, she won't go off that in the day, you can be sure of it. I'd
That
be
is
very
true.
surprised if she did. And then we only have one in the red, Killian, this week, and it is the Gucci fella.
Yeah. Jesus, he's bright
He's
red.
been totally and utterly found out. But I don't think, I think most people would have accepted, uh, that he wouldn't be the most knowledgeable man in the world. But he's been totally and utterly found out on Twitter there by the tipster exposer.
Yeah, I like obviously don't follow him or pay for his tips, but I
Huh.
would like I'm just flummoxed by the amount of points he's thrown out on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
That's what I find bizarre. Like you, like I don't know who's paying for it. Like they want it's them people that want to give their head a wobble. Like
Yeah. You'd love to
um.
know what he makes of it.
Say a lot of money. Sure,
It is a
he's
lot of money.
had he 300 is he 300 people in it or something there, your man said? When your man
He said
started,
it.
the exposer fella, he's 600. I think he's down to 300 now, but
Oh, really?
I think yeah, he's doing God's work in fairness. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's not looking good for the Gucci fella. Or for any lad that's charging money.
No.
Really,
Barb.
no one is safe.
Barb's
The
bankers.
Barb Bankers is under pressure as well. There's like I see there he was like the blogger was on the list for targeting, but I don't think the blogger Like he's charging a few quid there for a subscription thing on Twitter, but I think he's doing more than just throwing out even money shots. Like I think he's trying to do like what the blogger does. Like, you know, in fairness, I think he is good for racing the blogger. He does put a lot of stuff in like that. But the other fella is definitely, I'd say he's under pressure. The revenue stream could be coming to an end soon enough if your man stays going the way he is.
Yeah. He could be under pressure. He certainly could. That's all from us for this week. Well, all from us for today anyway. Killian will be back on Thursday night previewing Saturday's racing, and
Correct.
Friday night
Yes.
previewing Sunday's racing. Is that correct, Killian?
That is true, yes.
Yeah. So you've got that later on in the week. And indeed, make sure to check our Twitter page. We've got a giveaway there at the moment worth €200. You've got 2 Dublin Racing Festival flexi tickets. You've got hacked up horse racing gifts, given £100 worth of goods in there as well, along with the Irish Field, their Cheltenham Festival magazine. Their inaugural magazine comes out about middle of February every year. That's included in it as well, so that'll be posted to the lucky winner. So again, all of that is coming to over €200. All you have to do is like, share, and I don't know what else you have to do. It's all on Twitter.
Like, repost, tag someone, and follow the page. The hacked up one has embroidered gilet, socks, mug, and a Cheltenham Festival planner. The Cheltenham Festival planners are very useful. They're very good. And do you know what inaugural means?
Comes out every year, no?
No, that's the first ever. I was looking at it today. I said, Jesus, the Irish Field, I definitely bought that before. No, you know, their annual Cheltenham Festival magazine would be the statement, not inaugural.
What's inaugural?
And be the first ever, the first time they've done it.
All right. Well, it's the first time they've done one for 2024. That's exactly what I meant.
That is true. Right. I'd say that's it for this week. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Good luck. We'll see.
Good luck. Bye-bye.
It's Honey stuck on